How strong is your relationship? Is it strong enough to overcome a trip to the petty claims court? Let's find out.
In the legal system, cases are tried from Supreme Courts to small claims court. But what about stuff that's too small for small claims court? This is petty claims court.
Allie, we've helped quite a few couples to this point, and probably quite a few other couples we have not helped.
Yeah, and then there are some that we think we're helping, but then we get updates from them later on, and it seems that things are just back to the way they were.
You can always reach out to us if you're dealing with a very petty argument with a friend, a roommate, a lover, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a husband, a wife, a family member. If it's just so petty that it's even too small for small claims court, you can bring it to us. Slide in the DMs, Klein Alley Show, and we could potentially get you on a future episode of Petty Claims Court.
Well,
but right now,
last week it seemed like it was almost too small of a claim for petty claims court with the microwave.
oh, the guy that left the time in the microwave.
Some people were like, this is the pettiest of the petty.
Yeah.
But it really activated
Fired
everybody.
people up. They were fired up. There's the people that leave the time in the microwave, and there's the people that do the reset, and they can never get along and should never marry. Let's say hi to Mike. Let's say hi to his wife, I believe, Rachel. She's the one who put in the claim, and then he can defend himself. I don't know why it feels like more often than not the woman is putting in the claim, Allie. Doesn't it feel that way?
But it's weird because when we started doing petty claims court, I feel like it was always guys.
Rachel, welcome to KROQ. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. We did.
Sweet divots. Obviously, there's
She's
an
really
issue.
trying to impress the judges.
Hey,
huh?
listen, she's already swayed me. I'm ready to vote. You've got, in a moment, just for listening, you become a jury of this couple's peers. You will determine whether or not they stay together, potentially break up forever. At least you can determine who's right and who's wrong, and that's what relationships are all about. All right, Rachel, why don't you tell us what's going on?
So, my big pettiness is that my husband, who I adore, will always leave his empty packages, Amazon packages, whatever, just on the counter, on the couch.
Hate it.
You know, takes the stuff out that he needs and then just leaves it where it lies.
Doesn't matter how big the box is, even if it's one of those padded envelopes. I mean, that I understand leaving around. But, I mean, if it's a big Amazon box, he'll just take out the thing that came and leave the box where it be?
Yeah.
And how often are you getting Amazon deliveries?
Oh, we get Amazon deliveries a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
And you can tell
Yes,
this
both
is
of us.
bothering her, Klein, because even this the beginning, she was like, my husband, who I adore.
Right.
You know, it was really in her voice that she's really trying to still love this guy after all he's done.
It's funny because this exact thing happens in my house, but it's completely the reverse, where she's the one that A, orders it, and B, leaves the stuff everywhere.
Yeah, Katie's the leaver.
and-
I'm the box break. Or she'll put the entire box fully in the recycle bin so you can only fit like two of them.
Yeah,
in there.
that's another move that people seem to hate. All right, we'll let him defend himself in a moment. But, Rachel, you say Amazon is coming multiple times a day, every day, probably?
Definitely several times a week, yes.
Yeah, and how many times have you brought this up to him? Like, are you at the point now where you just make that noise where you go up to the box that's been left on the counter and just go, oh, again?
You know, most of the time I just take care of it myself, but there are times, like it's not even Amazon packages. Like sometimes it's like an empty box from his contact lens cleanser, and and he leaves it on the counter, and I will put it in front of his side of the sink to kind of hint.
Right, smart.
Yeah, I've
And
done
then
that
he
before. It
just-
doesn't work.
Doesn't work, right.
No, it doesn't work.
When you try and do the test, you're like, I'm just going to leave this here and I'm not going to clean it up. Then like 3 days goes by and you're like, God, fine.
Exactly.
All right, let me say hi to your husband now. We've badmouthed him long enough. It's nice to know that you started this thing by saying you adore him. Mike, you are adored by your wife, Rachel. Let's start with that, okay?
Okay, well, that's a relief.
Let's go into exactly. In her estimation, you have never once taken any of your packaging from Amazon or any of the other deliveries you get and removed it or thrown it out. You just leave it where it is. Is that true?
I love that it's never once that I've done this. That is not true. That is not true. Look, there are two situations where this comes about, and I think that's what we need to understand. We are in court after all. We need to make this, legit. So
Okay, go on,
let me
Mike.
just talk about. Here's the two scenarios, right? So I'll leave packaging material out, and Rachel talked about this a little bit. I'll leave it out. I always intend to come back to it, but something will get in the way before I can get to it, right? And sometimes I'll even leave it out deliberately. I'll say, look, I want to take this box and I want to use it to discard other trash and
So
put
you
that
have
in
plans
that
for the
before I throw
box.
it away.
Yeah.
Doll. He likes to Russian doll style
Yeah.
it. Smart.
Right. And it really is sort of part of this really eco-friendly initiative that by for some reason, Rachel is completely unaware of procrastinator recycling, but it is a real thing. I like to use these boxes to discard more garbage and then throw them away. So that could take an hour, but it could take 2 or 3 days. But it's all about being responsible.
By the way, great argument.
This guy is really...
The guy says initiative, he wins.
You should be a lawyer.
Hey, Mike, I also understand the value of a garbage box. And I have said for a while, an empty box is just an empty box unless you turn it into an additional countertop garbage can. And I also am a fan of the garbage box.
Mm-hmm. Well, or like you said, the Russian doll thing where you're like, okay.
Box inside a box inside a box.
Yeah, I'm going to let the boxes gather so that I can then, compile them later on and then go make one trip to the recycling bin versus 5 different trips.
Okay, so first argument that Mike is making, Rachel, is that he intentionally leaves the boxes because they're serving a greater purpose. What say you to that?
I call BS on that.
Okay, why?
I think he just forgets. I don't think there's any intention that he's going to go back, and it's usually gone, and he never goes, oh, by the way, I was saving that to use to recycle. I never hear that. Well,
okay, well, look, that's a really hurtful response. It's difficult for me to not take that response. That's really difficult to hear. I know that my wife says that she adores and loves me, but I'm a little unsure with that response.
What is your second point?
Oh, right. Let's talk about my second point, because one of the things that she even mentioned was that she'll leave empty containers, deliberately in my path so that I can find them, which is true. I'll find an empty box. It's placed on the counter in front of my sink, or it's gingerly placed on my pillow where I can find it when I go to bed.
Oh.
Now, the thing with that is, and look, I adore my wife. But
you guys have said that a lot. It's making me think you hate each other a lot.
I think adore is Latin for hate, by the way. I'm pretty sure.
We say that to each other whenever we're talking about it. Like, look, honey, I adore you.
Right, got it.
But so, that's a passive-aggressive form of communication, which is ineffective when you're just placing a box in on the counter in front of me. I mean, it's just not a clear message. Is this like here for a Pinterest project? Is it modern art? I once had a cat actually bring a dead mouse into the house and drop it in my shoe. Now, what am I supposed to know about that? What is that supposed to mean? I don't know. So if you drop a box on my pillow,
objection to the dead cat story. It's completely unrelated to the topic at hand. We can't accept that in this case. I appreciate you sharing. It's a good anecdote, but it doesn't belong here.
It does seem like, Rachel, by putting the box on a pillow or whatever, you're trying to be playful in the sense that, like, this is bothering me, but I still love you. Am I right, Rachel?
That's exactly it, yes.
Right.
Instead of just, complaining all the time or whatever, just, a nice little hint.
Well,
but
it's
Rachel...
certainly not clear. I mean, I placed the box right back on her pillow. I think we're playing a game.
Okay.
Right, but Mike, your plan for the box is also not clear, and Rachel doesn't know what that plan is.
People
so how
pointing
is she
out on the
supposed
text
to
line, the irony of this whole thing is this guy sounds like he's not getting any box from his wife.
Oh, my God.
And listen, that's a valid point. This guy's getting into whole packaging arguments now, and I don't know if the two of them even have... it sounds like this is taking over the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now, hold on. Now, you heard at the start of this call that we adore each other, right?
Right, yes, we heard that. Loud and clear.
All right, so we're good.
All right, they're going to get 10 seconds of final closing arguments. Then we immediately open this up to a jury of your peers, although the text line has not been shy in giving us their thoughts to this point. And it is all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
People understand.
Or 626 who says Mike sounds like Jake's long-lost brother.
I like him.
Just hearing this guy's voice.
Save the box so that Jake can live in it, please.
Yeah, I'm automatically siding with Rachel after hearing this man. But meanwhile, they go, this guy's definitely right. Plans for boxes are huge. That's a great point. That's a great point.
What is a timely manner for you? Is it immediately you break it down, or what's a realistic amount of time?
I mean, if it's small enough, I don't see why it can't be immediately broken down or thrown away. Yes.
But if
you're
it's
there,
small
you're
enough,
taking care of it.
It could be like 2 or 3 days, though, if it's small enough, right? I mean, if it's small enough, it's really not taking up a whole lot of space.
I would like Amazon to just deliver the boxes directly to the trash cans right next to them, so you can open there, take out what you need. Usually the box is significantly bigger than the thing inside.
God, I wish they would just self-destruct the boxes.
Man, that'd be great. All right, 10 seconds closing arguments, then we immediately open this up to the first 100 texts. That will determine who's right, who's wrong. You're hearing a case right now between Rachel, her husband Mike. They've been married, but the issue is that Rachel says Mike does not discard of any sort of packaging, Amazon, anything else, just leaves it right where it is. And clearly you can hear, as much as they said they adore each other, there is a festering hate that is building inside of both of them.
You can hear it.
Mike, we give you the first 10 seconds. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just compelled to declare my innocence here. I don't feel like I should be punished for conducting myself responsibly by procrastinating recycling. I think that's an important thing for people to do.
Whoa.
And I think that if my wife wants me to throw something away and she communicates that by placing an empty container like on my wallet, I mean, that's just an indirect message to me. It's a play time at the game.
Rachel, you have 10 seconds. Go ahead. Use your time wisely.
Okay. Just being the fact that we get a ton of Amazon packages every week, and we have 6 people in our house, and they're all slobs. Yes. And, it would just help, and it would, ease the stress of the wife and the house and the messiness of it if just the packages could be thrown away as they were opened.
There's your time. Rachel, by the way, has that voice where it's nice and laughy, but you can tell it seems like it's moments away from going into like blind rage.
Beating him to death with a box.
All right, first 100 votes determine who wins this case. You voting for Rachel, you voting for Mike. 800-520-1067.
Klein.
Alley.
Show. KROQ.
Klein Alley Show. KROQ.
In the legal system, cases are tried from Supreme Courts to small claims court. But what about stuff that's too small for small claims court? This is petty claims court.
A lot of people say this is not too small for small claims court. This is grand jury style because this happens in
every
houses,
household.
apartments,
Oh, yeah.
all over the place. And before we get back to Mike and Rachel has brought her husband to petty claims court because the guy opens packages from Amazon and then just leaves the packaging where it is, grabs whatever item he got, and moves on with his life. She's attempted to move the boxes in his path, even put them on his pillow, and he doesn't take a hint. And he claims he's got a big plan for these boxes. It's part of a giant, as he called
Grand
it,
box plan.
he called it
Box
a
initiative.
No,
Yeah.
he used a word. I forget what it was.
Procrasticycling.
Procrasticycling.
Which got him some votes on the text line. Some people said, you know what, that's what really won me over. Meanwhile, 562 said she wins. Take out the trash with this loser.
All right, listen, we'll get to the winner or loser in a moment, and every relationship loves to find out who's right, who's wrong. But Anthony, go ahead. What are your thoughts after hearing the case?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with them. I do the same thing. Normally when I order from Amazon, it's not just one package anyways. I order multiple packages. So once I open my first package and get all excited on whatever I ordered, then usually I throw the other ones in there and kind of just take it all at once.
Yeah, see, the procrasticycling is a move that a lot of people do.
Well, another thing that...
Whatever I ordered. I love the fact that people can't remember what they ordered 2 days before.
What is that box doing here?
Mystery box from Amazon.
714 said, what if you have to make a return? Then you don't have the box. And you didn't know that you needed to make the return. And if you already broken down the box and gotten rid of it, it becomes a bigger headache.
So I used to be the grab all the boxes and rip them up and throw them out. And then that would happen where I'd say to my wife, why are we we don't need this. You ordered 6 of these. We didn't need it.
Right.
She goes, well, I can't return them. You threw out the box. And I was like, yeah, I guess you got a point. I'm stuck with it.
I mean, there's an easy workaround.
Genevieve, quickly, Petty Claims Court, we have to announce the winner in a moment. What are your thoughts?
I was Rachel,
Okay.
but I also think they should compromise.
Well, that's compromise is overrated.
Compromise. Next.
Come on. Someone's right and someone's wrong. Philip,
How can you compromise on this, by the way?
final word, and then we have to go ahead and announce the ruling. Go ahead.
Am I on?
Yeah, you're on.
Procrasticycling. If he came up with 5% of the energy he did to come up with that, he could use that damn energy to break down a stupid box.
Thank you. All right. People are heated. All right. Mike, you've heard from some of the people listening to your case. Rachel, you've heard from some of the people listening to your case. The verdict, the rulings are final here at Petty Claims Court. Allie is tabulating votes, and there's way more than 100 here, but we did say the first 100. You guys are willing to accept the rulings, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
909, save the boxes. You never know when you're going to need a box. And when you don't have a box, it's so annoying to buy them. 626 said, I think that Amazon has the resources and the power to collect their own damn boxes.
They
I
do.
don't think either of them should be held accountable for this.
It's interesting because the trucks come so much for the drop-off. You would think if you just put the empty boxes
Just pick
back
'em
out
up.
on the step, Amazon should just grab them and go.
That would be
they could
great.
reuse them. It's probably good for the planet or something. I don't know.
909 Team Rachel, there's so many germs everywhere with those boxes. You got to break them down right away. 310, my vote is for Mike. It's annoying to have to take away your boxes, especially when you're trying to give them a better life and a purpose. But 213 said, I believe Rachel. Unfortunately, Mike is a better attorney, and it's one of those cases where the better attorney wins, not the one who deserves to win.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I got it.
So
Better.
I think the majority of the votes are for Mike just because he conducted himself so well during
what an
court.
upset. Mike. People love you or hated you, and at this point I would say I adore you, but regardless, you have won this petty claims court.
Well, look, I'm not going to lie to you all and say that I wasn't expecting this outcome. I was 100% expecting this outcome.
Yeah.
It's just that Ted Bundy effect,
Yeah,
Klein, where
yeah.
it's like he's guilty, but
Yeah.
he's so charming, so everyone's like, oh, you.
She's definitely going to cut his junk off. You could hear it in her voice, right? You can hear that's coming.
It's a real possibility.
Yeah,
It's a real
she'll use that knife for that, and then she'll break down the boxes with it.
Yeah. All right. Well, congratulations. The rule. Hey, so pretty much from now on, the ruling here is that Rachel, you have to give Mike 3 days after packaging arrives to sit wherever it is because he could be working on a really cool robot Halloween costume for next year.
That's what he's saying, working on all year.
And as a result, you have to not say anything. If she does complain about the boxes,
You can throw them at her.
then no, that's terrible advice. Then I guess, Mike, you just get to talk to her in your regular voice. That's punishment enough.
All right, that's
All right,
perfect.
great. Thank you. It's been another very successful petty claims court. You guys feel like you're a stronger couple now?
Oh, yeah. I definitely feel like this is
Thanks for watching some of our radio show. We've got to get these cameras back to Best Buy before the 30 days runs out. So in the meantime, you can check out our radio show, which is available to listen to every day live on KROQ or the podcast.
Yes, if you download and subscribe to the podcast, you can save a morning show in need.
That's us.
We're very much in need. We're thirsty. Thirst trap.